stop. Something ancient just stirred in the atmosphere around you. This is not a coincidence. This is a signal. You've been followed, not by fear, not by failure, but by a force assigned by heaven before your very first breath. Someone, right now, is locked in position, and if anyone dares to cross the line, they will not face resistance. They will face divine retaliation. You felt it, that invisible protection in moments when you should have broken, that quiet presence when betrayal circled, yet nothing ever reached you. So ask yourself, was it luck, or were you guarded? Was it chance, or were you chosen and covered by design? The enemy thought you were alone, but the moment they moved, someone else moved first. This isn't just a message. This is a reminder from something deeper, a place where the chosen are awakening. If you're hearing this, it's not because you stumbled upon it. It's because you carry a scroll in your soul that's been sealed for far too long. A divine assignment darkness has been trying to erase by any means necessary. No weapon formed against you shall prosper, not because you are invincible, but because what you carry is too sacred to be stolen. This isn't a fairy tale. This is spiritual war. Silent footsteps in the night. Battles fought before you ever opened your eyes each morning. You didn't survive by accident. You were covered. You were surrounded by a flame the enemy could never touch. Stay until the end. Because what's about to be revealed may explain every closed door, every betrayal, every unseen war. This may be the awakening you've been praying for, and it may be the reason you're still standing today. Marked by heaven, hunted by darkness. Before the world had a name for you, heaven had already written yours in fire. You were not invited here, you were sent, and with that sending came resistance, unprovoked, unexplained, but never unintentional. You didn't provoke the darkness. Your existence did. The moment your soul agreed to carry light, the war began. You were marked, not by title, not by applause, but by assignment. The kind of assignment that makes hell hold its breath. This is why you've been misunderstood. Why people misread your silence. Why attacks seem to find you when you're minding your own purpose. It's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are becoming. The same way Pharaoh feared the rise of Moses before Moses ever raised a staff, some have sensed your impact before you even made a sound. Like David, who was anointed in secret while his brothers stood taller. You've been selected quietly, but the oil on your life is loud in the spirit. It speaks when you walk into rooms. It unsettles systems. It exposes agendas. You weren't born for peacekeeping. You were born for territory. And territory always attracts resistance. Every storm has had an eye on you for one reason. Your presence disrupts what darkness depends on. And the moment you embraced that truth, you became a threat too big to ignore and too backed to defeat. The sacred silence before the storm. There is a silence that isn't empty. It's heavy, thick with unseen preparation. For the chosen, that silence feels like abandonment. But it is not absence. It is alignment. When God hid Joseph in the pit, it wasn't to bury him. It was to protect the dream from premature exposure. He was silenced, not punished. Hidden, not forgotten. You've wondered why your voice hasn't reached more, why your efforts seem invisible, why doors stayed shut while others ran ahead. The answer is sobering, because had you been elevated too soon, they would have crowned what was still being forged. The sacred silence was God's way of guarding the scroll inside you. Not even you could read it yet, because calling without character is exposure. Esther was prepared in silence for a year before she saw the king. But in that silence, oil was applied. Identity was formed. Royal posture replaced orphan panic. The silence wasn't delay. It was divine surveillance. Your protector was stationed in the silence, watching, shielding, intercepting every unseen arrow while you wept from not being seen. Some call it waiting. Heaven calls it withholding for glory. Forged in fire, protected by fury. The fire was never meant to destroy you. It was designed to reveal you. Pain was not the thief. It was the sculptor. Every betrayal, every injustice, every night you prayed with cracked voice and clenched fists, they weren't interruptions. They were instructions. God doesn't waste flames. Job learned this as ashes fell from his skin and loyalty poured from his lips. You've endured nights like Job, stripped, silenced, surrounded by misunderstanding, yet your spirit refused to curse the God who still had you breathing. You are not a product of survival. You are the weapon the furnace released. And what came out of that fire can't be manipulated, can't be bought, and won't be broken. But here's what few understand. While you were being forged, someone else was being armed. You weren't suffering alone. There was someone in the spirit, a force heaven assigned that burned with you. Their wounds mirrored yours. Their prayers sounded like thunder in the unseen. This protector's fury isn't emotional, it's sacred. Their devotion is not romantic, it's righteous. They don't just defend you. They avenge every moment you were mishandled. The pain wasn't punishment. It was prophecy being welded into flesh. And what the fire revealed cannot be unmade. The consequences of aborting the call to be chosen is not a crown, it's a contract. And when you carry what others refuse to, there are consequences for laying it down. Jonah ran, not because he didn't hear, but because he didn't want to obey. And the sea turned violent. The winds responded. Because the earth recognizes when a chosen one steps out of alignment. You've felt it too. The way peace evaporates when you play small. The inner turmoil when you try to blend in. The way heaven goes silent when you flirt with disobedience. This isn't fear-mongering. It's covenantal reality. You were not designed to blend. You were designed to break patterns, shift bloodlines, shatter strongholds. There are places you've tried to hide where peace refused to follow you. That wasn't rejection. That was heaven refusing to endorse a counterfeit version of you. When the chosen one aborts the mission, the atmosphere rebels. And yet, mercy always waits. But mercy won't cancel responsibility. The scroll still waits. Cloaked in authority, carved by assignment authority, is not volume. It's velocity in the spirit. It's how your whisper makes demons tremble. It's why you can shift a room without saying a word. Like Jesus in the wilderness, you passed tests no one saw. You said no in places others would have sold their soul. You obeyed when no applause followed. That's authority. Your guardian didn't just protect you. They watched you graduate through unseen thresholds. Every time you walked away from revenge. Every time you forgave without closure. Every time you stood still when everything screamed to react. Heaven saw it. Hell feared it. And authority grew where ego died. You now carry the sound of someone who's been processed, not just promoted. You don't need titles. You are the territory. God didn't just assign you power. He carved it into your name. This is why your guardian walks with boldness, because they know the crown on your life didn't come cheap. The commissioning has begun. Heaven is not waiting for you to feel ready. The trumpet has already sounded. You're not being prepared. You're being positioned. Moses was called with a stutter, Gideon with insecurity, Jeremiah with trembling lips. Your limitations have never disqualified you. They've only magnified the glory when obedience takes over. You've spent years looking for a burning bush. But what if I told you the bush has been burning in you all along? The commissioning doesn't come with fanfare, it comes with fire. It comes with this moment, this call, this scroll unsealing before your spirit. You are not waiting on permission. You are walking in prophecy. Step forward, even if you shake, even if you whisper, even if you don't feel ready. Heaven has already decided you are. The awakening of the remnant. You are not alone. Scattered across nations are others, marked like you, misunderstood like you. molded like you. Some of them are watching this message right now, their spirit burning, their eyes welling with the same tears. You are part of the remnant, the ones who didn't quit, didn't fold, didn't give up when isolation whispered that they were forgotten. You are Elijah after the cave, Esther after the oil, Joseph after the prison. And just like them, you are rising into visibility with reverence, not performance. Your guardian knows this. That's why the warfare has intensified. Because this isn't just your emergence. This is the echo of many becoming one. You are not simply chosen. You are connected to a global uprising of consecrated fire. And the moment you accept this, you shift the frequency of everything around you. The echo was never yours alone. What you've carried wasn't just for you. It was a sound, a warning, a war cry, a healing, a key. And now the time has come to release it, to speak what you've swallowed, to rise with what nearly crushed you, to carry not just your voice, but the sound of everyone who never made it to this moment. The guardian behind you knows. This is the hour your echo must break the silence, not just on your street, but through timelines, through bloodlines, through nations. You weren't just healed. You were weaponized. You weren't just restored. You were commissioned. You weren't just delivered. You were deployed. And when your echo moves, the earth remembers who you are. Let that truth settle like a holy silence, like the final breath before a battle cry, like the moment a scroll closes, because the message has been spoken. You weren't overlooked. You were concealed beneath fire, hidden inside warfare, guarded by silence, not because you were weak, but because what you carry had to be armored in secrecy until the world was ready, and the enemy was out of position. Now, the veil lifts, and the one they thought was broken steps forward not as a survivor, but as a storm in covenant, a living scroll in motion, the evidence that what hell couldn't crush, heaven chose to crown. You are not waiting. You are not wandering. You are walking in alignment with a decree older than time. You are the answered prayer of generations before you. You are the rebuke to every voice that said you wouldn't rise. You are the sound the darkness hoped would stay silent. And now that you've heard this, you cannot go back. You have been guarded in silence, sharpened in shadow, and unleashed in fire. You are not just chosen, you are commissioned. If your spirit knows this word was for you, if you felt the confirmation flood your bones, comment 777 below as a signal to the realm of darkness that you're awake now. Share what part hit deepest, what vision it unlocked, what memory it stirred back to life. Subscribe to Echoes of the Chosen, not as a follower, but as a remnant carrier, a voice in the uprising, a keeper of scrolls. And never forget this truth that now walks with you. You are not alone. You are the next echo.